Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is time for Art of War. Tonight's episode is being brought to you by the INDEEVENT, a online independent Comic-Con where we've been featuring a whole bunch of different shows. And Art of War from Indievolt Radio, Indievolt TV on YouTube, and Indievolt Facebook page. We are proud to be a part of that event. And tonight we are bringing you Art of War, the drawing show that features a whole bunch of really cool artists, but they're drawing for an actual prize. Yeah, at the end of the show, we'll have a one of those little things where you can vote for your favorite artists, and you can vote for that artist, and that artist will win an actual prize, not just, accolades from the internet. So let's get started.
Look out!
All right, and welcome. My name is Eric Hodson. I am the new host of Art of War. Got tired of coming in second place all the time, so I just took over the show. Varian is in the back playing production manager, and we might hear from him from later on in the show. And we might have a couple other people as we got some invites out that might pop up a little bit later on. But for now, I'm going to introduce our first contestant, Goblin Grimm. How you doing, man?
All right.
Please tell us who you are.
Finally got my sound situated.
Yeah, sounding a lot better. Tell everybody a little bit about you and where they can find you.
I'm basically a freelance artist at the moment, working on a couple of personal projects. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all under Goblin Grimm with 2 M's.
All right, sounds good. And directly below Goblin, we have Mr. Scott Zambelli. Sir, thank you for joining us. This is your first appearance on Art of War.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you and where people can find you.
Yes, my name is Scott Zambelli, and I'm a longtime artist, known Eric forever. And I'm with Bardstone Publishing. That's my new independent comic publishing company. And our first blown issue of Crimson Shadows is on Kickstarter now. We have 4 days left, only $202 away from hitting our goal. So go to bardstone.com. You can click on the Kickstarter link. It'll take you there.
All right. Sounds good. And joining us again is the almighty Red Robot. Sir, tell everybody who you are and what you're doing here.
Hello, I'm Red Robot. Usually a 3D artist, but I've been trying to shift more a little bit more toward 2D stuff because my love was originally for comic books. And I'm trying to rebuild my 2D stuff. So pretty soon I'll be launching a new website for that stuff soon.
Awesome. That is exciting to hear. All right, guys, tonight you are playing for a package of Eon 11x17 artboards.
Nice.
Very, very nice Bristol surfaces to, endow with your creations. And tonight's theme, a little bit loosey-goosey with it. You can feel free to interpret this however you will. Partly metal, partly real. We're talking about the concept of cyborgs with living tissue of some sort of creature with machines. So you're welcome to explore that however you'd like. If you'd like to do an animal or a human, that's cool. Just partly metal, partly real. And yeah, I am stealing that from the Silverhawks cartoon if it wasn't already apparent. All right. Hey, Heather Tucker checking in, saying hey. Nice to see you. We got Niobe Comics out there lingering around. Hey, what's up? Lolita, the Indie Princess, is in the house. She has arrived. Hello. How is it going? All right. Heather Tucker says, I love the new shirt. All right. So it's, officially go time. So everybody gets started drawing.
All
and
right.
we are off to the races. And I want to thank everyone who is tuning in tonight on YouTube, on Facebook, where you can see the wonderful works of art that these artists are producing. If you're listening on Indievolt Radio, we invite you to head on over to YouTube, smash the like button, the subscription button, and that way you can see some of these wonderful pieces, these drawings, these creations. I'm really curious to see what we come up with tonight because usually we kind of stick to, take your independent character, do something with it. Tonight I wanted to just kind of have an open theme and just see what the interpretations were. So I figured, why not try something that's really creative and smush a couple of things together, like robots and animals.
Nice. All right.
Scott Zambelli, do you have a screen that you can share with me?
Let's see. It should be there.
Yep, I see it right here. I'm going to add that in.
There we go. Okay, yep, that's
right.
me there. So I'm going to start drawing on there.
Cool. Starting with gray tone, is that how you usually do it instead of?
Yeah. For me, I like to start off with grays, and so I'll do a layer of rough sketching, then do a layer over that where it's more defined line work. Then I'll do my shades, then I do color over that.
Okay. And for those of you who are listening on Indievolt Radio, Scott is using Adobe Photoshop. Red Robot, I believe. What are you using, sir?
I am using Procreate.
Procreate, awesome. I've dabbled a little bit with Procreate. I do like it as a tool. I'm still really stuck with Clip Studio. I really like that one a lot. Now, Scott, how come you're using Photoshop? How come you haven't made the change over to something like Clip Studio or Procreate?
Because I'm old.
So is this version CS3 that you got up here?
This is version just crashed.
Oh no.
Trying to stream and draw on here at the same time. Let's see if it'll handle it. Okay.
We got Buddy Lord checking in on the chat. Silverhawks. Yeah, that's our theme. Well, our theme's not Silverhawks, but it's partly metal, partly real. So that's a good place to find a theme tonight.
Yesterday, I watched a really hilarious mini documentary about the 80s cartoon Turbo Teen.
Turbo Teen.
Yeah, it was on a Toy Galaxy on a YouTube channel. It was hilarious.
I remember Turbo Teen.
Okay, guys, we have a question from Indievolt Radio coming to us from Puerto Rico. Julio, I believe, from Pol. I'm going to butcher this. So I apologize. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But coming all the way from Puerto Rico, how long do you all train to be an artist? We'll start with you, Scott. Tell us a little bit about your background in being, how long did it take you to train to be an artist?
Geez, to train, is that even the right word? I'm self-taught mostly. I mean, other than, just hanging out with a lot of awesome friends and stuff who are also artists and figuring out how, comparing techniques that each of us use and stuff. But I've been drawing. I started drawing like for fun back when Transformers first came out in comic books, and it just captivated me. And that's when I started like drawing a lot full time. But I mean, even prior to that, I had the Marvel how to draw comics the Marvel way. I had all kinds of different things I used to use, just drawing all the time. And professionally, I got into it around college, and that was 1995-ish. I got a job with an animation company, local one, that I did work for local ads and stuff, and I've just been drawing all the time since then. So it's a non-stop thing, I think.
Yeah, I think as artists we're constantly learning.
Yes.
And maybe we can refine the question just a little bit more down. Gabi, what is your take on this? How long did it take you before you decided, okay, I'm ready to put my stuff out there? So because maybe we can kind of explain the question that way. Like you feel like you've trained enough to just start putting yourself out there.
Pretty much when people actually started offering me money for in exchange for doing drawings. For me, that was probably about somewhere in elementary school. I remember I had a couple of kids that would give me a few bucks to draw them, little pictures and stuff. But I didn't make any like big money off of commissions until high school.
Nice.
I've got that phone call coming in. I'm going to be right back.
All right, sounds good. Meredith is checking in with us on the YouTube channel. She's asking what we're drawing tonight. Meredith, I decided to be a little ambiguous. So I gave these guys the challenge of partly metal, partly real as the theme. So kind of cybernetics, cyborg, half animal, half machine, that type of thing. And then we got Buddy Lord, who is, I'm in both chats because I figure why not? Glad to have you, sir. You're twice as nice in 2 chats. Trico checking in. Turbo Teen was awesome. Turbo Team, it wasn't before my time. It must have been one of those shows on early cable because I don't remember it at all. I grew up with 3 channels and an antenna made out of, a coat hanger.
I want to say that I can't believe I'm drawing blanks at names right now. But one of the animators from Turbo Team has been a friend of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he came in a few breakfast buzzes, and we call him an animator guy. And that's what one of his YouTube channels is called. And fantastic guy, so much wisdom. Whenever he comes in, it's like having him and Randy together. It's just like it's so much history there, and they could talk about stuff. And it's really cool to have him on the show. But he did say Turbo Team, and he says it on air, so this wasn't behind the scenes. He says one of the worst experiences of his professional career.
Oh man! You never want to know how hot dogs are made. You don't really want to know how the sauce is made. You just want to enjoy it, because frankly, especially with hot dogs, it's an unpleasant experience if you know how it's going on. We've got Geek Insider checking in. I found you. So apparently they've been looking for us for a while. Russell Allen, hey, how's it going? It's going better than we all deserve, sir. Thank you for checking in with us.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day. I mean,
you've been doing the Indievolt thing. So what's been keeping you busy? Because I just had to chime in at the 4:00 hour for Meredith's show, and then hosting this wonderful fadangle.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Being a part of all the shows at one time. It's been. I mean, I don't know how Meredith. I gotta give up to Meredith. Meredith's been like the person that's been bringing just like the glue to this whole event, and she's been really busting her butt to make sure that we all get, we're all we're supposed to be. Tomorrow is my day. I got an hour tomorrow, so we'll see if I totally screw it up. If anybody can mess up, you're looking at them. So. All
right, we got Red Robot featured right now. He's humbling right along in Procreate. Red Robot, come on. How about you answer the question, too, from earlier? How long did it take you to know you were ready to put yourself out there?
I've been drawing like most of my entire life, but I decided to take it seriously when I went to school for illustration and sequential art at SCAD. And I started making money from my stuff, like maybe right out of high school, just doing commissions and pinups and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a couple of Wizard World in Chicago as a working artist for some small press companies that unfortunately folded. But around after college, I kind of got really discouraged with my art, and I had like a really bad experience with editors who told me to basically find a new career. And one of my friends suggested 3D stuff, and the 3D, so I shifted over to 3D, and that's pretty much took over my professional life for like the next almost 16 years. And it wasn't until like the past couple of years listening to guys like your boy Zach and Ethan, and seeing one of my friends actually working with Ethan, that sort of reunited love I had for comic books and to start drawing regularly again.
Nice. Well, nice to have you on the show again. That was a good answer too. And I think that's really kind of what it boils down to, is like kind of how Scott was saying earlier, this is all we've ever done, so we just kind of like, you just keep learning. It's never you never really come to a moment where you're up and ready to do. You just decide one day that you're just going to put yourself out there at some point. But there's never we're never done learning. Got Spy Tattoo checking in. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy to catch another stream. Yeah, good to have you. If you wanted to come in and draw, we're doing cyborgs, basically, cybernetic creatures. So if it's not too late, if you want to come in, Spy, we can have you join in.
Yeah, that editor was a jerk. I don't even remember his name, but he made me so mad. He wasn't even with the big two or anything. I mean, I don't know. When I was
Well-
at SCAF, I got reviewed by Atsu Alonso from Marvel, Bob Strack from DC, and everything. And even Joe Quesada did my stuff like right before I graduated. And he was like, I just see you working at Marvel in 4 or 5 years. And I'm thinking, so what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Yeah, one of the toughest things in this business, I know we've all faced it, just like what you've been saying, Red, is the criticism angle. So, at some point, you put yourself out there enough, you're going to start getting some criticisms, and you got to learn to take. You got to learn to take. Find out what criticisms are constructive, because there's certainly people who are there to just tear you down. And then there's people who really want to, help you out and tell you what's going on. But we all have a tendency to, I don't want to, I guess the term butt hurt is probably the best I could think about, because it's easy for us to kind of get offended when somebody critiques our work, especially if we take it the wrong way. Curious to know, anybody who's drawing tonight, did you ever have an experience like that where somebody was genuinely trying to help you, but you just took the criticism the wrong way and it turned into a bad situation? Scott, we're not hearing you.
Not hearing me. Why are
There
you
we
not
are.
hearing
There
me?
we are.
You can hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
One thing that helped me was I took this commercial art class in high school, and our teacher, he was a professional artist, and one of the things he did was he would give us an assignment and then just totally rip it apart on us, and then he would draw all over it, do all kinds of stuff to it, and people would be horrified, like, oh my god, I worked so hard on this, what are you doing? And the whole lesson was, this is not yours, it's the client's, and it doesn't matter how much you like it. And that was a good lesson for me. For me, I always say art is a language in and of itself, and the different people who view your art, they'll either speak that language or they won't. And doing comic book conventions, we have artists of all different styles and various skill levels, but everyone has their own style and technique that speaks to somebody. I have friends whose style is completely different from mine, but they have a fan base that loves going and getting their work, and that would never buy from me, and vice versa. I have a fan base that would never buy from them, and it's because each fan has their own taste. So just realize people's critiques or criticisms or whatever, it's just an opinion, and the question is, are you liking what you're doing? That's how I do it.
Yeah.
How about anyone else?
I mean, I'm used to being critiqued, as part of our education in school, is being able to stand up there and have people to do your work over and over, and not being, like I said, butthurt over someone not liking what you do. Like when I was in college, I liked to draw very attractive, busty women, and that didn't always go over so well with other students in my class who like all the indie stuff. But I wasn't going to change like my style just to make other people happy, because I knew there was an audience for it.
Right. You gotta, as an artist, you gotta love what you're doing. So, because your emotions, I think, translate into the art, and if you're just going through motions to try to please somebody else, I think it will, it'll show up in the work.
Yeah, I think if you get stuck into a mode where you're just kind of being robotic about it, you're going to find that you kind of lose your soul. It's the drawing doesn't become rewarding anymore.
I agree.
Anybody else have a maybe an experience where you took criticism maybe the wrong way, where someone was trying to be constructive and it was, you kind of took it as destructive?
There's always somebody who's going to want to offer their critique. And I would say to people who want to offer critiques, make sure your critique is invited, first of all.
Yeah.
Because it's not always wanted. Just because you used to draw when you were in 3rd grade doesn't mean you're in the position to critique my work.
Sure. And as an artist, you've got to realize that your common person who would fit that description. You got to take their critique with a grain of salt.
Right.
It's not going to carry the same weight as someone like Todd McFarlane telling you need to work on your hands.
Or Liefeld telling you.
Well, yeah. If Liefeld telling you need to work on these feet. These are not. It's not.
He's the reason I took forever to learn how to draw feet.
But in his defense,
Love the guy, but
it does suck drawing a lot of hands and feet.
Well, that, and I think a lot of people forget how young he actually was when he was working at Marvel too.
Oh yeah, he was
Like,
younger than all of us.
I would have killed to have been, that position at that age.
Right.
So yeah, I think a lot.
It just becomes a growing experience at some point. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, a lot of people forget how young he actually was.
And how successful. It's easy to pick on him, but at the time, his comics were selling insane amounts.
Yeah, I was a big fan of him as a kid.
Me too.
He wasn't my favorite. Bob Layton was definitely my favorite. Barry Windsor-Smith, Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee. But Littfield was up there. I bought Youngblood. I loved Youngblood. I thought it was great.
And it was a departure at the time. Everything was spandex and everything. Having all those, now it's funny. People laugh at it because he would have so many pouches and belts. But at the time, it was like, oh my God, that's so cool. There's like so many, and it was cool at the time, especially when I was, 14 at the time.
Right.
So, it was something different.
Okay, we have another question from Indievolt Radio. Now, this is another one that we're definitely going to get everybody's input in on. How do you decide how much to charge? Well, how do I decide how much to charge for my art? How do you guys do it? Is it based on drawing ability, publishing history? I know an artist who is horrible but is asking for $150 a page US. We live in the Philippines. I'm a much better artist fundamentally and charge $55 US. And he's anonymous. So, thank you for checking in from the Philippines, and thank you for listening on Indievolt Radio. All right, so I'm going to take a stab at this myself. In my mind, I know my capabilities, and basically, I know how long something's going to take. So I get an idea of how much per hour I'd be willing to work on a project, and that's usually the starter basis. For right now, for my wrestling stuff especially, I'm getting a certain dollar amount, so there's no reason for me to take less than a certain dollar amount because that's kind of the going rate. Right. Otherwise, I might shoot myself in the foot doing something cheaper when I'm missing out on getting my normal rate for something that I'm well known for. Mm-hmm. Goblin, what do you think?
I've seen some really terrible artists get paid buku bucks and a lot. They get consistent work because they found that audience.
I'm right here. That's very rude of you. Goodbye, sir.
I thought you left. I thought you
left. Am I canceled? Yeah, go away.
I don't know how Varian could even take offense to that because he hasn't finished anything yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen him draw in forever. But no, if you find an audience that likes your stuff and they're willing to pay, and they're willing to pay whatever you're, putting your price and your stuff at, then you're doing better than most. So, I'm always struggling to up my game on my art skills and make everything look better and more professional, and I'm having trouble finding paid gigs a lot of times. So yeah. I obviously haven't found that audience, I guess.
Yeah, ultimately, there's no such thing as an overpaid artist because you're worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. So if somebody's willing to pay you it, you're worth it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
One problem a lot of artists have is a lot of artists are too introverted and they don't go out and promote themselves properly. And you can be the best artist in the world, but if no one knows you're there, you're not going to get paid anything. And, so part of what your value is what you make people perceive. I mean, Eric, you're big into professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan is one of the all-time best, but there's behind the scenes, there's a lot of wrestlers who are jealous of him because in real life they are better. They're more skilled, better tactics. But he knew how to control the crowd. He put on a show.
Yep.
And so he got paid more. And it's just as much that at comic book conventions. If you're just sitting there with your head down and you're not talking to people, and people are going to walk past you, they'll never stop and get to know you. You gotta put on a show. You gotta have, I have a completely different energy at a show than in my normal everyday life, because I'm there to interact and give an experience to those fans. And half the times too, if you don't think you're worth something, no one else is. Don't be afraid to ask for the money, and over time you will discover what your worth is as an artist, because if nobody's paying you for what you think you're worth, then you're not worth it. So you got to make that push for it, and don't be afraid to ask for it. And if you're not getting it, why? What do you need to improve? What do you need to do? Some people, it's not the price they need to work on. It's the speed.
Sure.
Too. That's another thing. As a professional artist, deadlines are important. And I know a lot of amazing artists who are just painfully slow. And, people...
I'm not going to be bullied.
Our directors need to get their product out.
I'm not going to be bullied anymore, okay?
You're also still here?
I feel like Candyman. Say my name. Say my name. I just want to let you guys...
You're getting awful paranoid. Is there something going on at home?
He just keeps popping back in.
Yeah, I'm really paranoid, man. I don't know what's going on. I did want to say, though, that you guys have crossed 34K listening right now on Indievolt Radio. I want to say thank you to Japan, who's first right now, number one. UK.
Pressure.
I'm big in Japan, so.
And again, fantastic. Everyone's been hanging out with Indievolt Radio during the INDEEVENT all day long. Really appreciate that. Very little music, lots of. But it's been kind of wonky because sometimes the system doesn't pick up the streams right away, but it's working right now. So thanks for being with us, guys. The drawings are coming together quite nice. I'm gonna step away for a little while, but Eric, when I come back, I got 2 more questions that are in queue. So
all right, sounds good.
Right.
Now I want to catch up a little bit too. Now, Spy Tattoo, you've been in the tattoo business, so can you shed a little light from that angle on how you price out your work?
Well, you get a price on how to keep yourself sustainable. That's for sure. And then, you also got to judge on how much supplies you're going to use and things like that. I'm just kind of, with the tattoo business, you had overhead of, you got the building and the licensure and things like that. And then it's all about your area. How much, juice can you squeeze out of it? Some areas are getting, for tattooing, they're getting $200 an hour. Going rate used to be $100 an hour needle time. So, somewhere in between is where things are falling now. But I find it different now. I'm kind of transferring into the regular art bracket of things. I'm steering away from tattooing.
Right.
And so now I'm just learning how to, reprice things. I started a Fiverr, and I've been playing around with that and some other things. But it's just how much do you want to charge your people to do the job that you need to do, and keep yourself doing it. You gotta eat, you gotta pay your rent, you gotta afford yourself not to have to take a second job, if you're gonna do it full time.
Yeah, totally.
Still learning on that stuff. I like on Fiverr, what I did is I put myself cheap until I got myself a better rating. Then I'll figure out how much that price structure is working for me. Add a little bit more if I need to. Just keep tweaking it until it gets good for you.
We're taking a look at Goblin's screen here. trucking right along. We've got almost some finished line art there.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on in this image.
Kind of putting together a cyborg chick with her little cyborg critter there, and gonna have her with some tools, like she's doing like a fix-it job on something.
Looks like she's missing a piece of her arm there.
Oh yeah, big chunk. Yeah, just doing some maintenance maybe.
All right, cool. We'll check in too here with Red Robot. Looks like we have a female figure in form here. Want to give us a little insight of what you're planning?
I'm doing a cyborg cave woman
Cyborg cave woman, unga bunga.
with some robo dinosaurs in the background.
Oh, nice. That sounds cool. Right up my alley.
But you were talking about pricing. Like normally for my 3D stuff, I charge on the complexity of the scene.
Sure.
Like if there's a lot of characters, that usually drives the price up. That also take into account rendering time, because a good 1900 by 1800 takes a good 1 to 2 hours. And now I have clients wanting 4K images, and those should take 2 to 3 hours to render. So I have to charge accordingly. But back when I was drawing and making money, I would, for like a single character shot, I'd even charge like $50 just starting out. And that was a good little way to make a little pocket money back when I was in school. Just selling commissions on eBay. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years while I was down there. And actually I met a lot of the clients I have today are the clients that were buying from me all the way back then. So I've always had this business philosophy that if you treat your clients right, they always come back.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Scott, any way we can get another screen share out of you so we can see your progress?
Oh, let's see here. Oh, I didn't share my screen. I'm sorry. That's right.
We got Buddy Lord checking in. $150 a page is mid-level profession.
There we go.
That's pretty high unless the guy is pretty damn good. Yeah, you know what? I never expect something really good for $150 a page. I know if I was getting paid $150 a page, I know exactly the level of quality I'd be putting out. So, and Michael Odin chiming in here, saying, "What's up, guys?" And we are going to take a look at Scott's screen. Oh my, Scott, you need a therapist?
Yeah, I'm going with
what's going on here?
cyborg vampire zombie mix.
Oh wow. Okay.
There's I don't know.
This looks kind of Hellraiser to me.
Yeah, a little bit of that going on. A lot of anguish, I guess. I don't know. Getting my real estate frustrations out.
Hey, it's looking really cool though, bud.
Thanks.
Look at that. Awesome. Well, and Red, it was Red. You started on Fiverr, right? You were the one that mentioned that.
No, I haven't used Fiverr. I started on eBay.
Who was it that started on Fiverr?
I was playing around on Fiverr, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did Fiverr for a little while. I was doing these $5 sketch cards early on when I was just trying to break into the sketch card business and have it for practice. And my experience with Fiverr is that it quickly just turned into something more. People were less, because I was doing these $5 sketch cards as like an outreach program for Scleroderma Foundation. Scleroderma is the funky disease that gives me my curled up fingers that I got to contend with. So I had like info on the back of the card, and I was trying to do this as a fundraiser for them and like an awareness campaign, but it snowballed and turned into all these little spot illustrations I started doing, and it got to the point where I was more busy than the money coming in made sense.
Right.
Yeah.
There was that
That's very similar
stuff.
That's very similar to sketch cards.
Yeah.
That I did that for 7-8 years, and it was nice, but it was good if it was going to be a stepping stone. But the sad reality of sketch cards is there was nobody who was an art director who gave a crap about your sketch card work.
Yep.
Nobody wanted to see your portfolio for sketch cards, which is amazing because you have severely tight deadlines in. You got to do insane quantities.
And insane quality nowadays too.
Oh yeah, and I was always amazed that nobody cared about the work. And so, at the time, with the Star Wars cards, I got great money on the return, so it made it worth worth it. But over time, they oversaturated that market, and the returns weren't like what they used to be. So it's like, why am I doing this? I'm spending with the amount of time I'm putting into these sets, I could do a whole issue of a comic book and self-publish.
Yep.
So
yep, that was my experience with that too. It was good to get the accolade to get into the con with.
Yes.
To put in your application for getting into the convention, working on Star Wars, that was,
yep.
That was a good thing there. That was probably worth a little bit of the pain involved.
Exactly.
But you're not going to make a career out of it. Absolutely.
Right.
Not.
And after, I was in it like 7 years, there was only so much benefit at that point. It wasn't going to produce any more results for me. So.
Yeah, I'm having, I'm getting into that point where some of my fiber gigs, I got $15 and $30 on some things, and I'm putting a little bit extra time into it, and I'm gonna have to just, take those and restate a new gig and put additional prices on some of the offers I got up there, because you do put a little bit more work into it and then you get those ratings, and then you're like, well, I did put a little bit more work into it. I want to get that extra cash, So the next jobs I'm going to have offered are going to have a little bit better pricing for myself.
Yeah. Well, it's a good way to go about it. I started doing these different tiers within the system to where, some of these sketches were $45, $50 because I was basically doing like production spot illustrations for, I think one of them was like a toilet installation system where, I had to illustrate how to take this wax ring and that they were selling or whatever. So, a few bizarre things here and there, but, it was a good growth experience. It definitely worked to help me on my speed because I tried to get these done as quickly as possible because for $5, I don't want to be spending more than 10, 15 minutes on something like that.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I didn't offer anything for $5. I did 10 or 15 for concepts, and then because one of my gigs on there is that I'll draw a tattoo for you, or I'll draw a cover up, and so basically for that kind of money, I just want to do a concept or three and send it to the person, and then they can go on from there and develop it if they want.
Question coming in from Indievolt Radio via Twitch. Thank you for everyone who is watching on the Twitch network. Mario asks, I was fired off of a project for inquiring what the budget is. I'm told that's a working artist faux pas. I was unaware. Thoughts?
It's none of your business what the project budget is. Unless you're the one fronting the money, it's not your business.
I know for myself, whenever I'm being hired like privately, I want to know that the person hiring me has a budget.
Yes. Yeah. To me, this I guess depends on the question. I was interpreting it like he was part of a larger project and he was hired to be an artist, and and he's asking how much money's involved in the whole project. If that's the case, it's none of your business.
Yeah. If you're just a cog in the wheel, you're getting paid no matter what. So
you're a cog. You can be replaced.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely don't want to. I don't want to take I don't want to even give a client the illusion that I can take on a project unless I know, they're able to pay for my services.
Yes.
Because otherwise, they're just going to end up wasting your time.
Yep. Oh, and they will. Everyone's willing to hire you for free.
Yep. You do notice that Eric does not draw on Art of War anymore. There's a correlation there. It's like, we're not paying you.
When I introduced the show, I said I was so tired of coming in second place that I just took the show over. So,
I will say this, guys, and you guys, I think both Scott and Eric, you both know that I've tried to open offices twice. Well, not twice. I did it with the same company, my very first publishing company. But there were a lot of people who came into the artists that came in to work for me, and the first thing they would ask me, maybe four different artists came in and asked me, hey, how are you bankrolling this? And I always thought it was the weirdest thing because I'm like, nobody goes into like Walmart if they're working there. Unfortunately, like Goblin, and
Yeah.
looks at their boss and says, "Hey, how are the Waltons bankrolling this whole thing?" No, they don't ask that, but I got asked that a couple times. I think they didn't trust
Yeah.
me.
I mean, it's a fair question in the sense that, like, even like for Crimson Shadows, I had an artist I hired, J. Travis Smith, who does insane work. He did my pencils, and it's he wants to make sure he's getting paid too, but at the same time, I want to make sure I'm getting work from the artist, because there's a lot of artists who flake out and disappear with the money. So it's a give and take on that aspect. He wants to make sure he's not going to put a month's worth of work to me and then I ditch him because I couldn't pay him. So like you just got to come up with an equally fair payment system. Like, it's not of his business how I'm financing the money, but it is his business. Can I pay him? And so we had a deal where I would pay him 50% of each page, and then when he finished, I would pay the other 50%. That way, he would never put an insane amount of work. Nothing was at risk, but at the same time, I knew I was getting my stuff. So it was a win-win, in my mind, at least. I think he was happy. He wants to come back for issue 2, so.
Hey, there you go.
I think he was happy.
Yeah, I know what we've been doing for the Roddy Piper comic book is we hired a colorist to finish my flats. So I'm going from pencils to inks and doing all the flatting. And so we hired this guy Nestor to do the colors. He's been doing a really great job. So what we've been doing is sets of 10. So for every 10 pages he gets done, then we issue him some money. And then the next 10, we throw them in the Dropbox hopper and just kind of go to task at it. That way we're getting stuff done, and we're getting it collected.
Yeah.
And
it gives motivation to both sides. Both sides have an equal stake in it. If you want your stuff done, you got to send your next payment. If he wants to get paid, he has to finish. So it keeps both parties honest, I think, doing it something like that.
Meredith chimes in. I want to draw. I'm getting inspired to break out my Sharpies and doodle. Well, Meredith, you're welcome to compete on next Friday's show with your Sharpies if you like.
Sharpies.
And that's one of the things that I'd like to do later on in the show is maybe do challenges where you're limited to certain materials, certain color palettes. I like having a theme, but I think it's nice to have an extra little level of challenge sometimes. So that might be something that we do in upcoming episodes, is do limited color palette or specifically use these kinds of tools and see where that takes us.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
All right, cycling through again, we're looking at Spy Tattoo. He's got a wicked cool spiky looking cyborg arm.
Yeah, let's see if I can.
Oh yeah. I think
I don't have my desk set up quite so good yet. Here we go.
It looks like everybody's implicitly drawing ladies, and that wasn't even specified. But I guess that's where we all ended up.
Mine's not a lady, I don't think. Is she? Do I have to make it a she?
No, absolutely not.
Actually, it's just a dead weird thing. It's kind of supposed to be neither. I could draw a penis on it for you, though, if you want.
And that
Surprise!
What is it? Silence of the Lambs there, that scene with the dancing.
Buffalo Bill.
I got a question here. It's the English is kind of broken. So Eric, it's the last question I have, by the way. So
sure.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I apologize, Eric. Just prepare yourself, because I did try to clean up the misspellings, but okay, here we go.
We'll work with what we got.
Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. I better make sure everyone knows this is from Indievolt Radio. 1 second.
Well, while we're waiting on that, Meredith is chiming in again. One of the most difficult draws I've ever done was a continuous line drawing. Let me preface this by saying I am not an artist, LOL.
Why are you not an artist? Why do you think you're not an artist? That's my question. People say that all the time.
I think
Why?
everybody has this implicit idea in their mind of what they
Yeah.
think an artist is or what that term means to them.
I actually don't like calling myself an artist either.
I've never liked that term either.
I
because
like illustrator.
yeah, it's a little bit more poignant as to what you actually do here.
Right.
And I think a lot of people like art is kind of a 4-letter word, and they think of these abstract museum things that go for thousands of dollars, and it's just 2 colors painted on a giant canvas. Or
Yeah, like I've never pooped in a jar and called it art, so I don't feel like I qualify as an artist.
yeah,
That's my Tuesdays.
It's funny. It's funny how we make production art. We make art that has value to people, and yet it's some of the most undervalued art of all time. Where
Yep.
we're not creating a good enough tax shelter for people, I guess.
Yeah. Also, another thing people say all the time is, I can't even draw a stick person. And I always say, don't worry, I've never been asked to get paid to draw a stick person, so you don't have to know how to draw.
Yeah, exactly. and you got to start somewhere. So
You got to start somewhere.
all right.
Exactly.
So here's the question from Indievolt Radio. Do you guys put in the contract with prospective clients the various things you will not be willing to draw? No questions, no maybes. Lots of writers from the USA have no fiber or barrier in their story ideas and no fear, and do not consider the feelings of the innocent artist from Levi.
Well, you should know what you're getting into before you even accept the job.
Yeah. So I guess today.
When people see my 3D stuff, they pretty much know what I like to do and what I can do. So that saves usually a lot of questions.
Yeah, it was cool to see your page the other day. I didn't know you did that kind of stuff from watching the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if we look at this question a little bit and kind of preface it a little bit more, I think if there's certain things that you're unwilling to draw, certain moral boundaries that you have, those are things you definitely want to be upfront with. If a client seems to be asking for that area of
Right.
of art, you definitely want to be upfront and forward with that.
Right. I don't think you need to like advertise though. I mean, just whatever job you're getting asked for, ask the right questions. Make sure. But I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't see a use to necessarily put stipulations in a contract. I think though, if you have a good enough solid portfolio, you
Right.
might answer those questions ahead of time. So, for example, if you're someone who wants to get paid to draw furry art, have a portfolio of furry art, and the furry artist commissioners will come.
Right.
But if you don't have any furry art,
They come out of the woodwork.
yeah. So, but if you don't have that in your portfolio, you're least likely to get asked for that type of thing. And that's where you definitely want to have that conversation and say, hey, look, I like doing this, or I'm not comfortable doing this. And in my experience, people who have asked for certain moral ambiguity things, they're okay if you say no. I don't have a problem with that. They totally understand that. They get it and they move on.
Yeah, I agree. It's been rare where people have had issues. Like there's one guy that is, I won't say names, goes to Comic-Cons and tries to commission some really freaky, violent scenes against women, and a lot of artists turn him down, and me too. But it's like this guy keeps trying, but it's interesting watching him try to ask for this artwork. You can tell he knows that he's about to get shot down probably.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, I'm not drawing that.
Yeah, like my number one rule is like no violence.
No violence of any
Like-
kind.
Like I don't know, action violence, but like
Oh
specific
yeah,
violence against people. Like no.
yeah. I don't want to do that kind of stuff either. It's like, there comes a line. I don't know. But you got to trust your own feelings and don't feel bad. Whatever your boundary line is, don't feel bad saying no.
Yeah, the worst thing you can do is violate your own conscience.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of a story that I can tell, and I did do a drawing that I wasn't happy with, but I was desperate for the money at the time, and it wasn't something super severe, but it's definitely something that stuck with me enough to know that I violated my own conscience. Mm-hmm. So always go into your negotiations with somebody if somebody's asking for it, and ask yourself this question: is it going to bother me that I drew this thing for somebody? You know, because if you're not going to put your name to it proudly, then chances are you're going to violate your conscience and feel bad about it later. So you probably want to just say no, because no amount of money is worth living with that.
Right. And with the internet, that image could go viral, it could do whatever, it become a huge virtual success, and it's something that you're reminded of or see on a regular basis, and you're stuck, you know? So yeah, definitely as an artist, we have the right to say no. If you don't like what somebody's asking from you, say no. Nothing wrong with that.
That's like I don't do political art.
Yeah, anything that's going to like be a hot button thing, you know, you got to take the consequences with saying yes to that.
Yep.
Yeah, I've only done one political art thing, and that was a special request from Dad. And there's no photos of it to be put on social media, and Dad doesn't even know how to operate a computer, so we're good.
Yeah, you're safe there. Meredith's chiming in. I think it's a title thing. I can draw. I don't consider myself a good scribbler, but I have no problem calling myself a writer or an author. So
there you go.
Yep.
I would argue that those are forms of art in of themselves.
Trico's like, wait a minute, my poop jars are art? I'm about to make a fortune.
Right? Only I think you gotta go to New York or San Francisco, though.
Yeah, and it's just jars. They're not looking for the socks. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look around. Let's see, we still got Scott's up on the board here. Let's take a look.
Oh, man, Scott, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
There's a lot of
scribbles. See, I'm just scribbling. That's all this is scribbles.
It's just how you arrange the scribbles.
Yep, that's all. It's all an illusion.
All right, let's take a look at Goblin. Nice clean lines there, Gobby. I really like a nice clean line, and that almost looks coloring book worthy. You got another arm back there. She's putting on her new arm or replacing her old one.
Yeah, working on some bits and pieces.
Goblin's getting very stylized too. I can pick his stuff out of anybody's nowadays.
Well, that's good. That that's development. We want to get there to where our art is basically our signature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phase 1 is developing your own style. Phase 2 is having everyone steal your style.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you know you're really successful.
Yeah.
You know, I once knew an artist who told me he never signed his work. And I asked him once, I said, hey, man, why don't you sign your stuff? And he said, well, it's because I want my art to be the signature. I want you to be able to look at my art and say, I know who that is. The problem is that he was in the second. He was someone who was drawing like someone who was in their second phase, where he wants to draw like them.
Right.
So it was to the point where by not putting a signature down, it was almost like saying, "Hey, I'm that guy."
Right.
And it did end up backfiring on him later on. But yeah, it's not a good idea. I mean, not signing your art. Now, I have seen my name erased from a couple of pieces that I did, but that was by a family member, so they could take them to work and pretend like it was theirs. I will tell you guys something funny though that happened to me. As far as it wasn't someone stealing my style, but I'm a part of a Facebook group. I won't say the name of the fandom, but it's an old fandom from the 80s. And I recently did a print of that fandom where I did a mashup of them in a movie together. And I knew better than to post it in the group, because while you can do that, you know, I just didn't want to find all these ridiculous memes of it. You know, people putting quotes they pulled out of thin air, you know, on the piece and cycling around through Instagram. So I was like, I took a picture. I took the worst picture of it I possibly could while I was hanging at my table. And this asshat in the group opened up his Photoshop somehow, I mean, listen. The man was surgical with the sway tool because I took it at an angle with the warp tool to where he straightened the image out and reposted like, "Here helps you out." And I'm like, "You idiot! I was I was so pissed. I was so pissed. But now the image is out there. I haven't seen it memed, so that's good.
See, the
But,
thing is, with the internet, once it's out there, you're putting it out there for the world, and you've given up ownership, whether you like it or not. It's just the way it is. Like, I've had certain art pieces become memes, but you know what? You just grin and say, "Oh, all right." You can't really fight it. You know? Even like the theft, you got the like the Chinese printing companies out there. They'll steal our artwork all the time. I think Derek's had his also done.
Yeah, my wrestling pieces like to show up on those instant.
And there's nothing you can do. There's no one you can rage against or go after.
Yeah, they don't have copyright laws.
Right. Yeah. It's just the way it is.
I see that Red Robot has drawn Lola after she finds out that I've got several figures in queue at Sideshow. That's how I see her when she bursts in the room. Meredith said she's got to go over to Demon Phil, so from Comics and More, New Jersey. He's doing an INDEEVENT event as well. Unfortunately, not everybody can get on Indievolt Radio at the same time. So we will be trying to get some of the shows that you guys aren't hearing live for another broadcast, but we'll try to do that for you at some point soon. Yeah, Lola says you better not. Guys, I gotta tell you real quick too. Is the man familiar? Well, you guys are familiar with Hasbro, right?
With who?
Hasbro,
yeah.
Okay, so they have a different line called HasLabs, where they make toys that no store is gonna order.
Yep.
Well, they are Kickstarter or crowdfunding right now a Sentinel. It's 26.8 inches tall.
Yes.
It's for the Marvel Legends line. It's got built-in lights and everything. It's $350. So I looked at Lola with the most puppy dog eyes I can find, because I got the other one they did for the little 3 1/4 inch figures. That Sentinel's about, I think he's 16 inches tall maybe. And I'm like, look at this one. This one's like toddler size. And she told me, she's like, it's $350. I don't know about that. That's $350. And I think she bent a little bit, like, oh, okay, but she's not understanding something. This is a Sentinel. I have to army build.
This is a definite need, not a want.
Yeah, but I have to army build. One isn't gonna do.
Oh, true. Good point.
This is like, you don't buy one stormtrooper. You have to buy them over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm sorry about the expense, but the rules are wrote. There's not one Sentinel. There's many.
Well, we'll have to have you as a guest again on Broke Money Hustle to talk about your poor decision making with online purchases.
I have to take this. I'm out of here. Once again, we did. Our listeners right now are at 41,121 people listening. One of the
highest number for Art of War.
It is. I was going to mention that highest number for Art of War yet, and we are at high right now. The UK's jumped back up there as number one, followed by France, Portugal, China, Japan. Thank you guys for being with us, and Mexico coming in too. So thank you guys for being with us.
How are people listening to us in China? I thought we were banned there.
We were, and they showed back up. China showed back up this morning.
Well, we gotta love those rebels who are living their dreams.
And somebody got their hands on a VPN.
Yeah, this morning it showed me a really cool feature, and it went away. It was showing me the numbers by country, and it stopped doing it. So I'm like, oh man, it sucks. But unfortunately, and maybe it'll do it again. Maybe tomorrow we'll start doing it again, because sometimes they put up updates and they take them down, or the update breaks. So we'll hopefully get those numbers back up. But guys, you're doing really good. I'm gonna get out of here. Eric, you got everything you need. You got the.
Yep, we got about 25 minutes left on the clock for these guys.
25 minutes. Oh my.
Yep. We're an hour and a half from broadcast show typically, give or take. So
That's plenty of time.
Checking out Red Robot here. He has gone from pencils to inks and is getting his shapely cyborg barbarian coming into play here. Looking good, looking good. All right. Well, I have a question because when I gave out the theme tonight of Partly Metal, Partly Real, besides Silverhawks, what was some of the decisions going on in your mind? Gabi, let's start with you.
I always keep thinking about Cable's metal arm. Like, you remember like the way that they always drew like metal arms and stuff in the old Marvel comics?
Oh yeah, with the really cool banding like Colossus, had.
Yeah, or like Forge and his metal leg and stuff, and it was all shiny looking.
That's what I was doing with the tongue
that.
on this guy.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to be trying to attempt anyway.
That was one of my favorite things. I just watched it again recently. Captain America Winter Soldiers. They got the Winter Soldier's arm right. It was like, yes, that's how it's supposed to look. Got that metal banding going on. It was like so awesome.
Wow, Scott, this is looking great, man. Got
oh, thanks.
That's really gnarly.
I don't know what to do down on the bottom, so I just make it the upper bust. I don't know.
It's a good natural place to cut it off, I think.
That's what I was thinking. I'll start adding some white.
Got Cable's metal arm right here.
Oh, hey, let's check this out. Spy tattoos, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Classic, total classic.
Classic.
All right, Spy, what about you? When you learned the theme, what were some of the first things coming into your mind?
I don't know, maybe Battle Angel Alita or Ghost of the Machine. I used to do these cyber fairies back in the day, and it's kind of how this came about.
Get a little bit of H.R. Geiger feel there with the exposed spinal cord and some of those spines coming off.
I love biomechanical, anything like that. Good stuff.
Very cool.
It's our future.
Yeah, I see now where there's a contact lens that's a full computer now that's actually physically exists.
Wow.
I'll check in on Red Robot, see where he's at.
Of course, everyone's going to be using it while they're driving, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
they'll be like watching movies in their eye while they're driving.
We'll have
they won't have to drive.
Who's going to be the first? Wonder who's going to be the first to use it for porn.
I'm sure whoever tested it did it.
Yeah. I was going to say we'll have a whole new social media dedicated to people's eye photography and eye videos.
Oh gosh.
That's like one of those Black Mirror episodes.
Yeah.
They had that eye video. They recorded every second of a person's life.
Well, I've only seen one episode of that series.
It's so
that was
good.
the first one with the pig.
What's scary is a lot of it seems to be coming true.
Yeah, I think all of our dystopian fiction was supposed to be warnings, not playbooks.
Yeah.
All right, Red Robot. What are some of the things you were thinking of when you learned the theme for tonight?
Techno barbarians from the Unification Wars.
Unification Wars. Is this something that comes from your own creation, or is this something?
That's a Warhammer reference.
Okay, Warhammer. We occasionally do another show called on Slick Jimmy's YouTube channel that's cheesecake oriented, and frequent Warhammer discussions seem to break out.
Man, that Bud Root popped into my head.
Oh, nice.
The Cableman artist. Like his style, I love. I absolutely love his style. That's if I could ever come close to that, the way he draws women, I'd be happy.
I feel the same way with Frank Cho.
Yes, that's my favorite.
Heck yeah.
Spy's bringing in some tonal lines, and that's really making that arm pop.
Yeah, we got to get into contrast, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I miss you drawing on. I'm gonna be missing you drawing on. You gotta do some more drawing on here.
Yeah, I need to do my own drawing stream, stuff like that. The genesis of this was me, I was talking to Varian and trying to pitch him the idea of doing a drawing show. He went ahead and started it and just decided to go ahead and start doing it. And then, so it became something that, I'm hosting it for the Indievolt channel. So I think though, if we can work it where I'm hosting and drawing at the same time, I would just be a non-competitor. So it wouldn't be fair for me to be running the show and be up for the prize. Which tonight you guys are playing for some Eon 11x17 art boards, which will be mailed out to you courtesy of Indievolt. And the straw poll is already in the chat, so you can click on that. Look for your prospective chat, whether you're looking at YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We have the link out there again.
No. And then remember, I won last week, so I can't. I think it was last week, right? So I can't really enter.
Oh yeah, that's. I think that might be right. I honestly don't remember. So
I believe it's you can't win 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. So he's good this week, so he can't win 2 weeks in a row.
Oh, you should have waited till next week
So
to
it's just for
invite me.
funsies.
Bring me on a week where everyone else doesn't qualify to win.
All right, and I just reposted the straw poll again for anybody who's not keeping up in the chat. Go ahead and get on in there, and you can start doing your votes now if you like.
For the straw poll, I would like to vote for bendy straws as my favorite.
I'm partial to the plastic ones.
Remember the old ones where they had the loops? And
Oh yeah, yeah. And the straw companies tried to keep outdoing each other. You could go to like a park and you find one that was like 4 feet long and looked like a roller coaster.
Yep.
It's taking me 20 minutes to drink this. Oh, it's almost there.
Well, of course, by the time it gets to you, you had to stop and take a breath, and then it would all go back down.
Yeah, I think this is a little too long. Oh yeah, Goblin has got a nice background going on there. We see her arm she's getting ready to put back on, and looks like some tools and stuff in the background. A little schematic. Got some nice hard contrast reflective shadows on the metal parts there, looking really good.
I used to go to a sketch night here in Austin, like every Thursday night, to meet up with some other local artists. And a lot of them were video game artists, because there's a lot of video game companies here in Austin.
Oh, nice.
And one of my friends is like the senior environmental designer at EA Games here. And,
Holy cow.
Yeah, he's really good. But he knows Joe Mad, who lives here in Austin too.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried getting Joe Mad to come out to one of the sketch nights, but man, he won't do it. Because he's afraid he'll just get swamped with like every artist in Austin showing up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it was a cool way to meet some people and like make a couple of business connections, and it's nice to see other sides of the industry. Because I moved here to Austin because I wanted to get into the video game concept of it, but I just kind of like drawing comics too much. But
yeah, I originally went to art school thinking I'd be in video games or special effects, so I do have that 3D skill background. But my first love was always comics, so it was I keep coming back to that, and so I never made it out to any of the meccas like Hollywood or Austin, or I guess Salt Lake City is pretty big for that industry too, for 3D and video games.
I mean, if you can get a job, and most times they're pretty steady, unless the company goes under. And it's a big job because it's full-time work. You get health insurance and all the benefits and everything, but you're stuck working in video games. And it's a very you burn out quickly in that field. It's like I've read that the average lifespan of video game concept art is only like 3 or 4 years.
Oh wow!
The average lifespan. That's a rough industry.
The average career span.
No, I know what you meant.
Yeah. I don't know, but both could be true, especially if you're pulling those all-nighters trying to get a game out for...
That's true.
I just remember what it was like in art school when you're waiting on something to render, like you have an animation. You basically got to sleep under the computer waiting for this thing to render. Like it took, gosh, hours for just a few seconds of animation back then.
When I started, do you remember? You might be too young, Eric, because you're younger than me. I don't know. Do you remember the
Not by
video,
much.
the Amiga video toaster, Commodore video toaster?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what was used when I started. Or we had, we would always have to do these, like for the fly-ins on logos, if they were chrome, you would actually do the letters were cut out. So you would have a background that had a metallic reflection. And when the letters flew on the screen, it would be a cutout. So it would give the illusion of the reflected surface, but it really was just a cutout and the metal was behind it. Because the computers weren't powerful enough to do those kind of reflections back then.
Yep.
So it was all smoke and mirrors to make it happen.
Weren't all the effects from Babylon 5 done on those computers?
I'm sorry, what?
Weren't all like the visual effects from Babylon 5 done on those Amiga computers?
Oh, you know what? I think they were. Yep. I believe you're right.
And that was some of the first 3D studio software before it became Studio Max, if I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Sounds right.
That was so that was something I tried to replicate when I was in art school. We'd had 3D Studio on these Windows NT stations that were like the top of the line. You know, for the time, probably had 256K of RAM or something like that. You know, you just have to sit there and wait on it forever to render, and then you find out it doesn't look right, and then you got to redo it. The golden kids these days don't know how easy they have it to be able to sit at home and make a complete video game.
That's right. These crazy kids. In my day, remember, we're like video games. Combat on Atari, it was just a square dot for your tank.
Yep.
And we liked it that way.
I still like it now.
Yeah.
My favorite was always Berserk. That was my favorite Atari game.
Yeah.
Oh man, we park our cars in the same garage. I swear.
Nice. The thing about Berserk with like the electrifying walls, I always wanted to like do like a story about that. You know, it's like a crash landing on an alien planet. You wake up in this underground bunker, and you know something happens. You turn on the power, and suddenly the walls are all dangerously electrified. And you know, it's just a really cool gimmick that they had for that game, which worked with the play mechanics really well. It was a lot of fun and challenging, but you know, it's just like you can get all of this high sci-fi and fantasy out of just a few pixels. You really pushed the creative limits of the technology at the time.
Yeah.
You know, that one was a favorite, and also River Raid. I'm a big fan of chump shooters, and that was like one of the first, probably the first shooter I ever played was River Raid. All right, looking really nice with the shading there, Spy.
Thank you.
Really rounding out those forms. Got a good look to the face there. Got some depth.
I use a lot of marker on my markers. I mean, I won't get into all that here, but I use a lot of saturation. I'll go over that same spot, just building up the color sometimes.
Mm-hmm. That's the great thing about the alcohol-based markers, that you can really load them up without getting all the streaking. They blend so well together.
Yeah, and I just got these new Tombows. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. Let me see if I can.
Those are the double-ended ones?
Yeah, they're dual brush Tombows.
Yeah, those work well.
And they're more of a water base. So the cool thing about them is that they and they're half off at Hobby Lobby. But the cool thing about them is they don't move under the alcohol base. They're
really?
Separate. Yeah, so they're water based. So they're really blendable. When you blend them, then your colors are locked down, and then you don't move them if you use alcohol over top of them. So it's kind of unique in that. It's nice.
Well, must be good for a good. That make them a good underpainting tool then.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, if you're watching with us or listening along, please visit the straw poll in the comments. You can find it whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. The straw poll is up. We need some more votes in there. And help us find out who's taking home the package of art boards from Eon. We're going to take a look at Zambelli. Oh, man, you got some tone and some white in there.
There it is.
Yeah.
He's not a happy guy here. Are cyborgs ever really happy? I don't know.
Looking really good. You got some nice highlights and shadows. Got a really good metallic look to the metal pieces. And
Thank
with
you.
your brush strokes and the cross hatching, you've really got a organic look to the fleshy pieces. So that's nicely done.
Thank you.
And we'll look over here what Red Robot's got going on. You got the
That's the fun part about doing something like this, though, is like I never would have drawn this normally, but because of that's where I like miss going to the sketch and draws and drink and draws and all those things.
yeah. We try to replicate that now in post thing that should not be era here on the Indievolt channel. And I know a lot of people like doing draw streams. I just don't know how somebody could sit and watch somebody for hours and hours. Me personally, if there was an artist I really admired who was doing that, I'd still have to just have it on in the background. Or
Yeah.
I'd want to cut to the chase and see it at like 500% speed.
Do you watch Twitch or anything like that? Do you ever check out artists on that? Because
I do not.
I do follow some good ones, and some of my favorites though they do just have some good music going. They play some they play some music and do the thing, and that gets to be your favorite because then you can just do your own thing,
Mm-hmm.
Have you
Why-
seen Ryan Hitch's YouTube channel where he draws stuff?
No.
No.
Tell us
And
about it.
he is amazing. He does little tutorials and like on anatomy and clothing. He's really good.
All right, we're looking at Spy right now. He's using the white of the paper and the tones to really shape the brow line there on that mask. It's looking pretty cool.
Just adding some of those lighter grays in there.
I started experimenting with these graphite markers, and I like them because on one end it's a brush, and on the other end it's a fine point, not a chisel. That's one of my biggest things that I don't like about the Copic markers or any of the mostly all the other brands. They have this almost useless chisel point, which for my process, I just can't stand the chisel point. I know some people are really good with it, but that's usually the part of the marker I always let dry out.
Yep, same
I
here.
never use it. But these have a really nice fine liner, so you can actually use it to do some of the inking and reinforce some of the lines with color really well because it's a nice fine point. And then on the other side, you got the brush. And the colors hold up really well because another thing with markers is you never know if the cap color on the end is an accurate representation. With Copic, it usually always is. All the others, it's hit or miss, it seems. But with those, it seems like they're pretty good about hitting the right color. Okay, we got about 7-8 minutes. Thank you to everybody who has chimed in on the straw poll. Keep them coming. And we got Red Robot and Procreate here, laying down some flush tone. Looks like Spy's got some flush
Looking
tone.
good.
So the mask is the human part. Is that what I'm reading in this?
Yeah, I mean, I did it so much in the robot realm. I needed to put something human in there, so I just put that mask, like it's taken off their face or something. Make it into the cyborg realm a little bit, rather than just a straight robot. Or
we're taking a look again at Scott Zambelli's really wicked looking vampire cyborg zombie pieces here. Like he is not being held together with much. It looks like.
No. He's just a floating head right now. Who knows?
All right. So let's as we're looking at the art, let's go around the room and we'll start here with Scott.
Yes.
Scott, remind us again what you got going on right now. You've got a publishing company you just started, and you got some projects on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So we're known as Bardstone Publishing, and we are we have our first Kickstarter going right now. Well, actually, second Kickstarter. We had just finished one called Poe Macabre Master, which was successful. Got that funded, and we're prepping all the rewards right now. And Crimson Shadows is our first collaborative piece with all of us involved. I got J. Travis Smith on pencils, Kevin E. Miner is inks, I am colors, layouts, writing. It's my baby, so I got all that work in there. And then Brett R. Pinson is handling the lettering and final layout. So it's been a lot of fun working as a whole unit. We got the entire issue done from start to finish in 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
So we just did it as a full-blown production line and kept everything moving forward, which was pretty cool.
That is awesome. It's it seems like it's getting rarer today, because I know it's something I've always wanted for myself, was to be a part of like a bullpen setting, and it sounds like you've kind of created that.
Yeah, it's worked out well. I've been very fortunate in finding Brett and Kevin I've known. J. Travis Smith I kind of found out of basically prayer. It's like, okay, Lord, I need somebody here. Give me the right guy, and it was pretty cool. I happened to stumble across him, and we've worked great together. So yeah, so you can find us on Kickstarter right now. We only have 4 days left. We're only $202 away from completing the goal. It's any donations of $40 or more. You also get, in addition to whatever reward you choose, you get a 4x6 sketch from me of whatever character you want. You also get all kinds of stuff, buttons and keychains and fun stuff like that. So
cool. Awesome.
Yeah, Crimson Shadows. If you go on Kickstarter, you can find it on there, or go to bardstone.com to our Kickstarter tab, and you'll see the link there.
All right. So you heard it here, bardstone.com. Click on the Kickstarter tab, and you'll go right to there. You can look for Crimson Shadows on Kickstarter. Sounds like they're really close. So you guys are listening. Help them out tonight. Head over there and let's give them the old Indievolt pop and get past their minimum that they're looking for. We're gonna go around again. Red Robot, what do you got going on here?
Almost laying down some colors and flats on her, stuff like that. I see if I have some time, maybe throw in some background colors as well.
All right, very cool. Are you working on any professional projects right now? Are you?
I have some commissions I have to work on. I have to get 2 orders I need to finish this week, and then I'll probably start on one of my other projects.
Sounds good. We got Madison chiming in from Indievolt Radio. Drink and draw seems crazy. As a lightweight, I can't even draw when I take NyQuil.
You can drink water.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think when you're taking NyQuil, it's supposed to kind of put you to sleep too. So maybe you need to take DayQuil and get the upper there. Our good friend Pops Van Zant, who is a big supporter of lots of different Kickstarter projects, Indiegogo projects. Maybe Pops needs to head over to bardstone.com and check out their Kickstarter for Crimson Tides.
He might have, actually. I think
he might have already. Says his internet went out for like 90 minutes and he missed all the good stuff.
Oh, okay, we'll start over.
You're just in time for the finale, Pops.
Everyone delete their pictures and start over.
Do over.
Meredith is chiming back in, and she welcomes Pops back to the chat. You guys that are coming back in, if you haven't voted, please vote, because there is currently a tie and we need some tiebreakers. So if you have not voted, we're going to take another look at the art. We're looking right now at Red Robot, who's got some massive cleavage action going on his barbarian cyborg. Coloring in the hair there, laying down the flats in Procreate, looking really good.
That's Lola. I know that cleavage anywhere.
I mean, the face and the nose. I can see a resemblance, definitely. And we're going to check out Scott Zambelli. He's got this crazy-looking Hellraiser image here. Very frightening dude. This is a vampire cyborg. Kind of zombie, kind of held together with just a few parts here. Looking really cool, really creepy. Scott's done a great job of differentiating the metal from the flesh with his texturing styles and the inking. It's looking really cool.
Thank you.
Now we're going to click on over to Spy Tattoo, who is putting in some chalk in the background. What are you doing here, man?
Yeah, I'm just throwing in some tones with I guess it's a soft pastel, which I think of it like chalk. I mean, I've
never tried soft pastel with the alcohol markers. Is this something that you can mix the two together, or is this something that this was like the last thing you'll do?
No, if I have time, I can still go back over this stuff here because I didn't really go over it, but this would dry out your markers here.
Okay.
You'd want to do it as a last step. It's nice, like if you want to go into some tones in the flesh or something and smooth things out, make it. Can we
get a little bit? Can you lift it up for a little bit for the audience as we are ticking down on time? Make sure we get some votes in there. Look at that. So she's a cyborg, and her human flesh face is her face mask. Got some nice spines there. I love the spinal cord elements. It's very H.R. Geiger-y to me.
Yeah, like I like where they got images of people, cyborgs hooked up to the machine. They're in like a bed of water or something, or I always like that imagery. So and then back in the day I had these angels or fairies that were made out of cybernetics. So I would just throw wings on them or whatever.
Very cool. So would the wings be kind of like energy?
Or like, well, either that or remember Angel and Archangel and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of my favorite characters.
Warren Worthington III.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the first Iron Wing that I really liked, and that and liking the story of Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Very cool, very cool. And we'll check back in with Red Robot. Looking good there. She's got basically a metallic body with some well-placed plates to keep her a little bit on the modest side, and definitely looks like she's ready for battle there. That's for sure. What's the story with the staff there? Is that like a spear, or is it like a power staff type thing?
That's kind of like a power staff spear, metallic. Can pierce anything.
So we could have like some really cool energy or stuff coming off of it. And
yeah.
Very nice. The theme for tonight was partly metal and partly real. We're going to check in with Goblin Grim, which we are seeing some watercolors coming out of Gobby here. Really laying in there. Got a readout screen in the background. Oh my gosh. Varian likes to expound upon Gobby's speed. Definitely getting to a finished piece here in record time, and looking good there. So there's a schematic in the background. She's putting on her arm, fixing herself a little bit. Got this cute little animal that's hanging out now. Those cords coming off, are those part of the animal, or is that part of her?
That's part of him. Those are his tails.
Oh, cute. Nice little chrome reflection built in there. The shoulder part is almost looking more leathery now, like a shiny black metal, maybe.
Yeah.
To comment on Seth's speed there, I remember one con that we had up here, and Seth made more money than most artists doing dollar pictures.
Yeah.
Remember when you were doing those dollar pictures?
Yeah, those little dollar sketch cards.
Oh man. Did that even pay for your supplies for the cards?
I didn't know what to charge at the time, so that's just what I was doing.
But you were slaying it.
Yeah. And
You're
people that
like
were
the only one
tipping.
that was non-stop busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
I had people that were tipping and stuff, so it was pretty good.
I did that too for a little bit. I was doing sketches for tips one time and averaged pretty well. I kept it to a limited amount of time where I was doing free sketches and I had a tip jar out and I was just kind of doing it from this time to this time, and I'd advertised it the day before. So I had a nice little line, and after the tips, it worked out to being like $20, $30 a sketch. So it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
She's got some cybernetics. She's got one eye is black with like a red, not contact lens, but like a red robotic eye, and then I assume the other eye is natural and real. Very cool, very cool. All right, so in the straw poll, we currently have a three-way tie, so I need everybody, if you haven't voted, please vote. We're currently looking at Goblin Grim. Got this amazing piece that's got some watercolor. Looks like we're getting some more highlights layered in there with a nice white ink pen. So Gobley's kind of gone to town on this image. Got a little critter there too. She's putting her arm together. And then we're gonna jump on down to Spy Tattoo, who has this wonderful like HR Geigery angel cyborg thing going on here with this nice blue aura around it from the soft pastel. Very cool. Very, very cool.
There's if you play Apex, Revenant is a cool character that I've been watching too. I like that character.
Oh, the Apex Legends?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to bring in Scott Zambelli and look at his. Oh, he's got his signature. He's all done with this.
Good enough.
Ooh, that white sings it.
Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. Got some really interesting tones there. So you've gone for like a fleshy tone for the face, but they're all very like muted too. Is there a reason why you went with a muted palette?
I just tend to go that way all the time. I don't go for the big poppy oversaturated. I tend to go more muted.
Very cool.
It's like the dingy look. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it suits this. It just definitely has that kind of vibe to it. Almost looks like a saw blade coming out of the top of the head. That's really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to put something up there.
Just some interesting little. I think the term is greebles, like little.
Yeah.
Little
I kind of was thinking, like, with like Star Wars, whenever they do helmets, there's never really functions to a lot of things they'll stick onto helmets or different things, but they look cool. So that's what I was thinking. Kind of channeling like a mohawk look.
You got to pick up FM radio somehow.
There you go. Or that could be a CD. That's how you
a CD player in his head.
Yeah.
Like Hellraiser? Didn't Hellraiser have a guy?
Oh, there
like
was. Yeah. Yeah, they had they shot those things out at everybody.
All right, we're looking at Red Robot now.
No, close up of the crotch area there.
Got some nice blue tones on the arms there. Very cool, very cool. All right. Well, we're going to need to call this eventually. We've gone a little bit over time. I think we're going to do about 5 more minutes, and I am begging somebody out there to break this tie because it's a 3-way tie right now, and we do want to try to get a definite winner here. So yeah, we'll go for another 5 minutes, and then we're going to call it. Looking good. If you guys had to imagine some kind of story going on here, Robot, tell us what kind of story would be going on with this character.
I think she's probably like a resistance fighter trying to save the world. Right from a draconian cybernetic overload. And she don't take no guff from no one.
Nice. All right, Scott, what about you? If you had to come up with a story for this guy, what would you think?
I was thinking of some kind of cybernetic vampire, like futuristic vampire type Terminator. I don't know. I had fun drawing him though. I picture kind of with like RoboCop, for instance. The remake of RoboCop, which wasn't as good, but I did like how they explored the concept of when he saw himself without his body and how it like really messed him up mentally. So, and there was a lot of anguish there. So I was kind of picturing like, to have most of your body as metal is probably more agonizing than we think.
Okay, Spy, what about you? What's the story going on with your crazy cyborg angel thing here?
Well, I guess I didn't have one yet. I don't know. Maybe she's like a spy and you don't know her story. I think that's maybe what it is. Yeah. She's a spy. She's getting back home to download her content. She's taking off her mask to, relax and have her flesh regenerated because, if your flesh isn't on a real body, it deteriorates if you don't watch out. So you got to have a new one made every now and then.
Okay, Goblin Grim, same question to you. What is the story going on here?
Probably just needed some maintenance. She's lives by herself, so she's got to be able to put herself back together when she needs to, and has her little buddy there to help her, who probably doesn't help very well because it's kind of a cat-looking thing, so it's probably getting in the way more than it does any good. Typical cat.
The cat probably knocks all her tools off the table.
Oh yeah, typical little jerk. So he's just kind of bugging her, kind of hanging out while she's trying to put herself back together.
Yeah, maintenance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, do maintenance.
Gotta do maintenance.
All right, guys, we're going to need to call this thing because our time's going long. I'm not sure, we might be up against some other INDEEVENT shows. So I'm going to go ahead and call pencils down.
Right.
If you're not done yet, just go ahead and stop. We have a historic moment, so I'm going to need to bring in our progenitor, Varian, to cover what's going on here.
Complete anarchy. Complete anarchy on your first night in charge. Not a good look.
Oh, hey, wait. We had another vote.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
We do. We had a four-way tie for the longest time. It started as a two-way tie, then it went to a three-way tie, then it went to a four-way tie. We just had another vote come in, and so we can actually call this. Let me share the screen. So we were almost going to have to come up with some sort of creative answer here, because you guys have done an immaculate job tonight. But tonight,
I'll just meet up in a parking lot.
The winner is Goblin Grim tonight with 3 votes.
good job,
Holy
guys.
cow.
Scott, Robot, and Spy, you all carried 2 votes apiece. And congratulations, Grim. Congratulations, everybody, because you really all knocked it out of the park. You took the theme and ran with it. So give yourselves a hand. Some really, really cool stuff, and really hard for for anybody to stand out when everything is just so good. So that was awesome. Good job tonight.
So is this where we do like the temper tantrum on American Idol when they're voted out?
there's a
You're
new
gonna
limit.
regret this.
There's a new limit to the amount of listeners we can have on Indievolt Radio, so maybe some more drama would push us over the limit,
It's like that person cheated.
I know My solution for the tiebreaker was we all meet up in a parking lot somewhere and just duke it out.
Like the weatherman fight.
All right, folks.
Break your finger?
If you're not subscribed, please head over to Indievolt Radio on the YouTube channel and subscribe. We're looking right now at the winning entry, Goblin Grim, with this beautiful cyborg chick with this cute little furry animal with these two cyborg tails. She's in a repair bay. She's fixing herself up in her garage in her spare time. Got a schematic in the background. Nice watercolor washes, really bringing out the piece. And you know what? Good on you, Gobby, because you've been coming in second and third for the longest time. Tonight is your first big victory, taking home some artboards. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay.
It's an awesome
Yeah, I
piece.
could definitely use them too, so that's always awesome.
That is awesome. So why don't you go ahead and tell us, everybody, once again, where they can find you and where they can get a hold of you for a commission such as this.
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, DeviantArt. I even have a Ko-Fi account or coffee account, however it's pronounced. I have a shop on there now, and they also do commissions as well. I don't know if you could search for Goblin Grim on there. I think that they give you like a little like VIN number or something. But I have that, and I also opened up a store in VShop. But commissions are mostly through either Facebook or Instagram or DeviantArt.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. And once again, congratulations. Red Robot, we're taking a look at yours again. Tell everybody where they can find you, learn about what you're doing. And
You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram under Red Robot 3D. You can see all of my spicy stuff. I'm probably going to be opening up a second website to showcase more of my 2D stuff, just in case for people that don't like the 3D.
all right. Awesome. Awesome. And Scott Zambelli, who had this wonderful, crazy vampire thing going on here. Once again, sir, tell us where we can find out about Bardstone Publishing.
Bardstone.com is our official website. You can also find us on Facebook at Bardstone Publishing is our handle there. But main thing, check out our Kickstarter tab. We have 4 days left of our Crimson Shadows. It's an awesome Jack the Ripper meets Dracula meets everything else in 1890s London. Check it out and consider pledging.
Awesome, awesome. You heard him. So if you guys are still sticking around with us, get over there and let's get Crimson Shadows over the finish line, please. We like to give all of our artists who have projects a little Indievolt bump. So hopefully we'll get you over that hump, and we'll finish out here with Spy. Tell us, people, where they can find you. Looks like you said Spy Tattoos on Instagram. Is that the only place to be?
Yep. That's I got Spy Tattoos everywhere on the internet. But that's got the biggest body of my work right now. I'd tell you more, but I'm rebranding right now. Cause like I said, I'm not doing the tattoos anymore. So I'm rebranding, and that'll come out soon. But if you follow Spy Tattoos, that's where I'll be right now.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
I want to take the opportunity to thank once again all the artists, and I want to thank everybody who's been checking in with us. Over 41,000 tuning in on Indievolt Radio right now from across the globe. Thank you so much for letting us come into your homes. We hope that a bunch of you will come over to the Indievolt YouTube channel, click the like button, share and subscribe to us. Help us get to that profitability where we can get to that first hurdle of subscribers and start helping to pay, because the money goes towards providing the prizes. Like tonight, where our winner is taking home some Eon art boards. We've done $25 gift cards for Hobby Lobby in the past, Michael's, Jimmy John's, other things like that. So, you know, these things incur cost. We want to bring entertainment to you, and a way that we can help that without having advertisers is to have the YouTube channel supported. So please consider, if you can, get over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. We want to thank everybody watching on Twitch and everybody watching on Facebook as well. This has been Indievolt's Art of War. Thank you. Have a good night, and check out the other indie events happening all across the streaming network. You can check those out wherever you are. Thanks again, and we'll see you next Friday for another awesome episode of The Art of War.